So, what if I told you there was a single formula that explains, well, basically everything? Reality, why we suffer, and how to find freedom. According to the Buddha, there is, and today we're going to unpack it. It's called Dependent Origination, and it's the very discovery that led to his enlightenment. It's kind of like the master key to understanding reality itself. Now, this isn't just some nice, poetic saying. The Buddha is being incredibly direct here. He's saying that if you can truly grasp this one principle, you understand the ultimate truth of his entire teaching. It really is the master key that unlocks everything else. And let's be clear, we are not just talking about some interesting philosophical idea you can debate over coffee. This is presented as the core insight, the actual breakthrough moment that allowed the Buddha to free himself from samsara, that endless and, let's be honest, exhausting cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. Okay, so to understand how all this works, we first need to get our heads around the universal law that governs it all. You can think of this as the fundamental physics of existence, the universal rulebook. The core idea is actually super simple, but it's also incredibly profound. Basically, nothing just pops into existence out of thin air. Everything, and I mean everything, from a tiny thought to an entire galaxy, only arises because a specific set of conditions came together to make it happen. It's a universe of total, absolute interconnectedness. This ancient formula, it's like a perfect if-then statement for all of reality. It's so elegant. You know, when this is, let's say you have sun and rain, that is, a flower blooms. Simple, right? But just as important, when this is not, when the conditions are gone, the flower withers. When the right conditions are present, a result appears. When you take them away, the result just vanishes. And this is where it gets really different from how we usually think about cause and effect in the West. We tend to imagine a straight line, you know? A causes B. But Buddhist conditionality describes this vast, intricate web. So many different threads or conditions all have to converge to create just one single event. And the really wild part? You can trace those threads back forever. There's no single starting point, no first cause you can point to. Okay, so that's the grand universal law. But how does this apply to our own lives, right here, right now? This is where we shift from the abstract theory to something deeply personal. The Buddha used this very principle to map out the chain reaction that explains human suffering and why we feel so stuck in these repeating patterns. Now, I know this list might look a little intimidating at first glance, but just think of it as a diagnostic map. These are the 12 sequential links in a chain reaction, the very process that keeps what's called the wheel of existence turning, locking us into that cycle of suffering we talked about. To make it a little easier to chew on, the chain is often laid out across 3 lifetimes. See, the first 2 links, ignorance and our past actions, are kind of like the karmic seeds that were planted in a past life. Then, links 3 through 10 are the result. They literally make up our entire experience in this present life. And based on our actions now, well, that's what determines links 11 and 12, our future. All right, so we're caught in a chain reaction. I get it, that sounds pretty grim. But here's the good news. The whole point of this teaching isn't to describe a prison. It's to hand us the key. This is the escape plan. And here's the crucial part. The whole process can be stopped. It's like a line of dominoes. You don't have to fight every single one. You just have to cut the chain at its root, that very first link of ignorance. If you do that, the entire sequence just collapses. So where do we make that strategic strike? Where's the weak link in the chain? It all happens right here, at link number 7, feeling. Now, this isn't emotion. This is the raw, unfiltered sensation that arises the instant our senses make contact with the world. And it's really simple. It's either pleasant, unpleasant, or just neutral. It just is. And right on the heels of that raw feeling comes link number 8, craving. This is our reaction to the feeling. If the sensation is pleasant, we automatically crave more of it. If it's unpleasant, we crave for it to go away. This is the automatic, deeply ingrained habit that forges the very next link in the chain. But, and this is everything, that reaction, the craving, it's not actually instantaneous. And this is the game-changing discovery. There is a space, a tiny, precious gap between the raw feeling and our habitual reaction. And it's right there, within that space, that the entire potential for freedom lies. This is the battlefield for liberation. So how do you operate in that space? Well, here's the 3-step plan. First, you use mindfulness to simply notice the feeling as it arises, without judging it. Second, you apply wisdom. You recognize that the feeling, whether it's good or bad, is just temporary. It's going to pass. And by doing just that, you can consciously choose not to let that automatic reaction of craving kick in. You break the chain right then and there. So you see, understanding this whole process isn't just some intellectual exercise. It reveals the exact point in our own moment-to-moment experience where we can step in and make a different choice. It's our move. And when we successfully stop that craving from arising, we're chipping away at that root of ignorance. And when ignorance finally ceases, the whole domino effect just stops. No new karmic formations get created, no new consciousness for another rebirth arises, and the whole cycle of aging, death, and suffering is brought to an end. This ancient formula, it's not just philosophy. It's a moment-to-moment description of how your mind works. So the real takeaway is this. When you feel that sting of criticism at work, or the pleasure of a compliment, or even just the boredom of waiting in line, can you spot that gap? Where in your day is that space for freedom between what you feel and what you do next?